Beloved child of God, as the dawn breaks and light stretches across the horizon, let your soul awaken not with fear, but with faith. The very breath in your lungs is a reminder that His mercy has been renewed, and His hand has carried you into a brand new day. Scripture reminds us in Proverbs 3:5-6, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy paths." When you begin by putting God in control, you place your day in the safest hands. This is how peace enters before worry even tries to knock. Think of Joseph, beloved, who was betrayed by his brothers and thrown into a pit, yet he never stopped trusting God's plan. Though prison chains bound him, he placed his future in the hands of the Almighty, and in time he was lifted to power in Egypt. His story testifies that when you surrender control, God orchestrates the outcome. What man meant for harm, God transformed into good. Begin your day with this same trust, and watch His purpose unfold. Beloved, look at Hannah, who longed for a child and poured out her soul before the Lord in the temple. She gave her pain and her hope to God, surrendering even before the answer came. In her prayerful release, she found peace, and in God's timing, Samuel was born, a prophet who would anoint kings. Her story proves that control surrendered to God becomes the seed of blessing. Put Him in control, and miracles will follow. Consider Daniel, beloved, who lived in a land filled with idols and laws that opposed his faith. Yet 3 times a day, he opened his window toward Jerusalem and prayed, handing over his day to God's authority. Even when the decree sent him to the lion's den, Daniel knew control did not belong to kings, but to the King of Kings. God shut the mouths of lions, for the man who surrendered in prayer could not be defeated. Trust the same God with your morning, and He will guard you. Beloved, David sang in Psalm 37:5, "Commit thy way unto the Lord, trust also in Him, and He shall bring it to pass." His victories did not begin on battlefields, but in surrendered songs at dawn, long before he faced Goliath. David placed his trust in God, declaring that the Lord was his shepherd, and he would not want. That trust carried him from the fields to the throne. Put God in control today, and your valleys will lead to victory. Think of Moses, who trembled at the thought of confronting Pharaoh, yet obeyed when God said, "I will be with you." Each step into Egypt was not Moses' strength, but God's authority at work. The Red Sea parted not because Moses held power, but because he surrendered his staff and his will to the Almighty. Beloved, the same God who parted seas will make a way for you when you release control. This is His promise to you. Beloved, Esther's courage did not come from her crown, but from her surrender. Before she entered the king's court, she fasted and prayed, acknowledging that only God could grant favor and protection. Her trust saved not only her life, but her entire nation. When you let God take control, what seems impossible becomes possible. This morning, surrender your fears as she did, and walk in boldness. The Apostle Paul, even in chains, declared in Philippians 4:13, "I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me." He placed his life in God's hands, whether shipwrecked, beaten, or imprisoned, and because of that surrender, the gospel spread across nations. Beloved, if Paul could put God first from a prison cell, surely we can from the comfort of a new morning. Control belongs to Him, and in His hands all things work together for good. Beloved, you may feel overwhelmed by the weight of decisions, uncertain about your future, or tired of carrying burdens that seem too heavy. God is whispering to you today, "Give it to me, let me take control." Say it aloud, "Lord, I put you in control of my day, my heart and my life." Write it in the comments. I put God in control. Share your prayer requests. Tell us where you need peace, and let this community pray for you. And as you do, Notice the exact moment you pressed play. Was it in your car, in your room, in your struggle? That moment was divinely appointed. God is speaking to you right now. Beloved, surrendering control is not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom. When you let go of your grip, you make space for God's hands to move. His strength becomes your strength, His wisdom your guide, and His peace your anchor. This is the exchange that transforms mornings into miracles. Say again in faith, God first, God in control. To put God in control is to release your worries before they consume you. Fear will always try to convince you to hold on tighter, but faith teaches you to let go. When you let go, you are not falling. You are being carried. His arms are everlasting, His grip unshakable, His presence eternal. Beloved, trust the one who never fails. Beloved, surrender your plans today, for His are greater and higher than your own. You may think you know what is best, but God sees the full picture. Every delay has purpose. Every redirection carries blessing. Every closed door protects you. When you put Him in control, you trade confusion for clarity and panic for peace. This is the wisdom of the Spirit. Every act of surrender is a step into freedom. Control often becomes chains, binding you to worry, but surrender breaks those chains. God never asks you to carry what only He can bear. This morning, give Him your burdens, and He will give you rest. Beloved, let His rest refresh your soul. Beloved, peace is not found in controlling outcomes, but in trusting the one who controls everything. His peace guards your heart like a fortress, keeping fear from entering. It surrounds you when the world shakes and steadies you when your spirit trembles. This peace is your inheritance when you begin by placing Him first. Beloved, dwell in this peace today. Faith is built when you release what you cannot understand and trust the one who does. To put God in control is to choose faith over fear, trust over doubt, and hope over despair. It is declaring that His promises are true even when circumstances look otherwise. This faith pleases God and strengthens you. Beloved, let your faith rise with the dawn. Beloved, your words in the morning shape your path. Speak surrender, speak trust, speak hope, and let your heart follow. What you declare in faith becomes the reality you walk into. Say it boldly. God, I give you this day. I place you in control. Heaven hears, and heaven responds. Your morning surrender is the key that unlocks blessing for your day. When you hand control to Him, you are not losing power but gaining peace. You are not giving up, but stepping up into His will. Every decision, every moment, every step becomes holy. Beloved, begin now with open hands. Beloved child of God, as this first part of our prayer closes, remember that control belongs not to you, but to the Creator of heaven and earth. His love for you is greater than your fear, His wisdom greater than your understanding, and His power greater than your weakness. Trust Him with everything, your family, your work, your future, and watch Him move in ways beyond your imagination. This is the promise of those who put God first. Beloved child of God, this morning your spirit is invited to rest in the truth that God is greater than every plan, every fear, and every unknown. To say God first is to release your grip on what you cannot control and to surrender it all into His perfect hands. This surrender does not weaken you, but fills you with strength that cannot be explained by human reason. When you release, He restores. When you yield, He provides. When you trust, He moves. Beloved, this is the secret to beginning your day in peace. To start the day by placing Him in control is to proclaim that your steps are ordered even before you walk them. The world may seem uncertain, but your path has already been prepared with mercy and favor. Each sunrise is not only a reminder of His power, but a declaration of His faithfulness. What He has begun in you, He will bring to completion, and nothing can stop his hand. Beloved, walk confidently knowing you are guided. Peace is the fruit of surrender, and it will guard your heart like a fortress. This peace is not fragile, but fierce, silencing the voices of fear and calming the waves of worry. It steadies you when life feels heavy and lifts you when your spirit feels weak. When you put God in control, peace becomes your inheritance. Beloved, let peace wrap itself around you today. Beloved, gratitude prepares the soil of your heart to receive greater blessings. By thanking God for what you have, you show that you trust Him for what is to come. Gratitude turns ordinary moments into sacred encounters, shifting your focus from scarcity to abundance. When you begin with thanksgiving, you begin with joy. Let your words today echo with thanks for every gift He has given. Joy is the strength that rises when you put Him first. This joy is not dependent on circumstance but rooted in His unchanging presence. It carries you through valleys, lifts you on mountains, and steadies you when storms surround you. Joy is proof that God is in control, even when life feels uncertain. Beloved, let joy flow like a river from your soul. Faith, beloved, is not about seeing, but about trusting. It is believing that even in silence, God is speaking. Even in waiting, God is working. Even in trials, God is triumphing. When you declare God in control, you choose faith over fear and hope over despair. This faith will guide your steps and open doors you could never unlock alone. Beloved, let your faith rise with the morning light. Beloved, prayer in the morning is not ritual, but relationship. It is the sacred moment where your weakness meets His strength and your doubts are replaced with His truth. Every word you speak is treasured in heaven and answered in His perfect way. Prayer is not wasted time, but invested eternity. Begin today with prayer, and you begin with power. When you let God take control, worry loses its grip. Fear feeds on control, but surrender starves it, leaving only peace. Every burden you try to carry alone becomes lighter when placed in His hands. He does not ask you to handle everything, but to trust Him with everything. Beloved, release and let Him carry you. Beloved, surrender is not the end, but the beginning of victory. To place God first is to declare that your battles are not yours, but His. In His hands, every trial becomes a testimony, every weakness a strength, and every obstacle a doorway to blessing. Nothing surrendered to Him is ever lost. Beloved, victory is your portion when you yield to His control. The Spirit of God longs to guide you, comfort you, and strengthen you. When you let Him lead, confusion becomes clarity and hesitation becomes courage. His whispers are gentle yet strong enough to move mountains in your life. By putting Him first, you align yourself with wisdom that cannot fail. Beloved, listen to His voice today. Beloved, your declaration shapes your direction. Say aloud, God in control, and you are setting the atmosphere of your heart. Words are not empty. They are seeds that shape your reality and invite heaven to respond. Declare His name boldly and watch as His peace fills your day. Speak life, and life will overflow from within you. Every morning is an opportunity to step into freedom. Yesterday's chains no longer bind you because His mercy has written a new story for today. You are not who you were, but who He says you are. Redeemed, chosen, and beloved. With Him first, you are already walking in liberty. Beloved, let this day be a testimony of freedom. Beloved, rest does not mean inactivity but trust. It is the choice to let God set the pace rather than being driven by fear. Rest is the fruit of surrender, allowing you to walk in peace even in the busiest of days. When you rest in Him, you reflect His glory. Beloved, choose rest in His promises this morning. The mercy of God flows like a river, cleansing, renewing, and refreshing you. You do not need to strive for it. It meets you fresh every morning. This mercy is greater than your failures and stronger than your regrets. To put God in control is to step into that mercy and let it cover every detail of your life. Beloved, walk in mercy today. Beloved, obedience opens doors that effort never could. Each choice to honor Him above yourself is a seed of blessing planted for the future. His way is always higher, His plan always better, His path always sure. When you obey, you invite favor into your day. Begin with obedience, and you begin with blessing. The presence of God transforms the ordinary into holy. Even simple routines become sacred when surrendered to Him. His Spirit fills your steps, your words, and your moments with eternal weight. With God in control, every second becomes meaningful. Beloved, let His presence saturate your day. Beloved, courage rises when you trust God with the unknown. Fear whispers, but faith shouts louder when the heart is surrendered. You do not face today alone, for He goes before you and His angels guard your way. With Him in control, you are unshakable, unmovable, unstoppable. Beloved, rise in courage and walk in victory. As this part closes, remember that every day is safest when it begins with God in control. You are never left to your own strength, but lifted by His Spirit and covered by His love. Peace, joy, faith, and freedom flow from this one decision: put Him first. Beloved, your day is already blessed because He is in control. Beloved child of God, as the light of morning touches your life, remember that this day is a divine gift, not an accident. Every breath you take is a sign that His mercy has renewed and His plan continues. You are not stepping into chaos, but into order already written by His hand. To whisper God in control is to accept that you are never walking alone. Beloved, you are covered by His love before you even begin. To put Him first is to silence the voices that demand your attention and to listen instead to His gentle whisper. The world will try to push its weight onto your shoulders, but God calls you to place it all at His feet. This surrender is your greatest strength, for His power works best in weakness. What you cannot manage, He has already secured. Beloved, lean into His strength today. Peace, beloved, is not distant, but present when you let go of control. It flows into your spirit like calm waters, steadying your heart and clearing your mind. This peace will not fade with circumstances, because it is rooted in His presence. No trial, no fear, no storm can steal it from you. With God in control, peace is your shield. Beloved, gratitude is the doorway into joy, and joy is the strength that carries you. Each time you thank Him for what you already have, your heart expands to receive even more. Gratitude reshapes your vision, allowing you to see blessings in places others overlook. It shifts your soul from worry to worship. Begin this day with thanksgiving, and joy will overflow. Faith becomes alive when it is declared before the answers arrive. To say God in control is to say, I trust you even when I cannot see. Faith is not passive but active, reaching beyond sight into eternal truth. It grows stronger every time you surrender and weaker every time you cling to control. Beloved, let your faith be the foundation of your morning. Beloved, prayer is not duty but dialogue with the one who loves you most. It is your soul leaning into His presence, your heart opening to His voice. Every word you speak in prayer draws heaven closer and fills your spirit with strength. This is why mornings surrendered to Him are filled with unseen power. Beloved, begin your day with this holy conversation. Your burdens were never meant to be carried alone. Every worry you try to hold drains your strength, but every burden given to God lightens your load. His shoulders are strong enough for your heaviest fears and gentle enough for your smallest concerns. Nothing is too great or too small for Him. Beloved, Release your burdens and breathe in his peace. Beloved, victory does not begin on the battlefield, but in the heart that has already surrendered. By placing God in control, you are declaring that your battles belong to him. He fights for you, protects you, and covers you with his hand. No weapon formed against you can prosper because he is your defender. Beloved, victory is yours in him. The Spirit of God desires to guide your every step today. His voice may be gentle, but it is powerful enough to direct your life. When you invite him in first, you are walking in clarity, not confusion. His wisdom will light the path, and his comfort will strengthen your heart. Beloved, listen for his whisper, and you will not be led astray. Beloved, your words are not empty but alive with power. When you speak surrender and declare God in control, you are shaping the very atmosphere around you. Words of faith draw heaven's response and silence the lies of the enemy. What you declare in the morning becomes the reality you carry into the day. Beloved, speak boldly and with trust. Freedom flows when you release control. Yesterday's chains do not belong on today's path, and yesterday's failures do not define today's blessings. His mercy wipes your slate clean, and his love writes a new story. To put God in control is to embrace this freedom without fear. Beloved, step into liberty with confidence. Beloved, rest is the fruit of trust, not the absence of work. Rest comes when you stop striving and start surrendering. When you let him carry the load you were never meant to bear. In his presence, you find refreshment for your weary soul. Rest is not weakness, but wisdom. Beloved, let him be your rest this morning. Mercy meets you with the sunrise, and grace follows you throughout the day. His compassion is deeper than your failures and stronger than your fears. Each new morning carries the promise of forgiveness and renewal. When you surrender, you are stepping into rivers of mercy that will never run dry. Beloved, walk with confidence in that mercy. Beloved, obedience opens the windows of heaven. Each step you take in alignment with his will positions you for blessing you could never achieve on your own. Obedience is trust expressed in action, surrender lived out in choices. It may cost, but it always bears fruit. Beloved, let obedience guide your day. The presence of God transforms every moment you surrender. What others see as routine becomes sacred. When his Spirit fills it, your home becomes a sanctuary. Your work becomes worship. Your words become light. With him in control, nothing is wasted. Beloved, invite his presence into everything you do. Beloved, courage rises when you let go of fear and cling to his promises. The unknown no longer frightens you because you know who walks before you. Courage is not found in control but in surrender. With him first, you become unshakable in the face of uncertainty. Beloved, walk boldly today. Every choice to put God first releases blessing into your path. His favor surrounds you, his love carries you, and his Spirit empowers you. What feels impossible in your strength becomes possible in his. To surrender is to live a life filled with divine possibility. Beloved, put him in control and see his hand move. Beloved, as this part closes, let your heart remember you are safest when you surrender. Control was never yours or hold, but peace was always his to give. Today is not an accident but an assignment, filled with grace, mercy, and purpose. With God in control, you are unshakable and unstoppable. Beloved, your day is already blessed in him. Beloved child of God, as the morning unfolds, remember that every second is written by his hand. You do not wake to randomness, but to a day carefully woven into his plan. His mercy has gone before you, his love has surrounded you, and his Spirit has filled you. To say God in control is to declare that nothing can separate you from his care. Beloved, Your life is already held in His perfect design. To begin with, God is to set your heart above fear and your mind above worry. The world may try to weigh you down, but His promises lift you higher. Every concern you surrender is transformed into peace, and every burden released becomes lightness for your soul. This exchange is the secret to strength that does not fail. Beloved, give Him control and find your peace. Peace, beloved, is not a fragile feeling, but a fortress that guards your heart. It stands strong when storms surround you and quiets your spirit when fear rises. His peace is greater than your understanding, deeper than your doubts, and stronger than your worries. With God in control, peace flows like a river. Beloved, let it wash over your heart today. Beloved, gratitude is the key that unlocks joy. When you thank Him first, you prepare your heart to receive what only He can give. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present, from despair to hope, from emptiness to fullness. This is how mornings become sacred beginnings. Beloved, let your lips overflow with thanksgiving. Joy rises when you choose to place Him first. This joy is not shallow but strong, rooted in the everlasting presence of God. It steadies you when sorrow tries to overwhelm and strengthens you when weakness presses in. Joy is the song of a heart surrendered to Him. Beloved, begin today with joy as your anthem. Faith grows in the soil of surrender. When you say God in control, you are planting seeds of trust that will bloom into blessing. Faith looks beyond what is seen and rests in the one who cannot fail. Every act of trust builds strength for the days ahead. Beloved, let your faith rise with the morning light. Beloved, prayer is the lifeline of your spirit. It is not duty but delight, not ritual but relationship, not routine but renewal. Every word spoken in faith draws heaven nearer and fills your heart with power. Prayer is the key to opening heaven's blessing over your day. Beloved, begin your morning with this sacred exchange. Your burdens are not yours to carry alone. The weight of fear, the load of worry, and the chains of doubt were never meant for your shoulders. Place them into His hands, and He will replace them with rest. His strength will sustain you, His love will steady you, and His presence will fill you. Beloved, release your burdens to Him now. Beloved, victory begins in the surrendered heart. The moment you let go and let God take control, your battle shifts from your strength to His. No enemy can prevail against the one who trusts the Almighty. His power turns obstacles into opportunities and trials into testimonies. Beloved, declare victory through surrender. The Spirit of God whispers truth into your heart every morning. His voice calms the chaos and guides you with wisdom beyond your own. When you invite Him first, confusion loses power and clarity takes its place. His direction will never fail you, for He sees the end from the beginning. Beloved, listen and walk in His counsel. Beloved, your words shape your world. To speak God in control is to invite heaven to reign over your life. Declarations of faith break chains of fear and open doors of blessing. What you proclaim in the morning becomes the reality you will carry into the day. Beloved, speak boldly and believe deeply. Freedom flows when you surrender your need for control. The chains of worry, the grip of anxiety, and the weight of regret lose power when placed into His hands. Freedom is not found in striving, but in trusting. With God first, you are walking in liberty the world cannot give. Beloved, embrace this freedom fully. Beloved, rest comes when you stop striving and start trusting. Rest is not an absence of activity, but the presence of His peace. It is knowing that even in your effort, it is His Spirit who carries you. Rest is a gift for those who surrender. Beloved, let your soul find rest in Him this morning. Mercy greets you like the rising sun. fresh and unending. Yesterday's failures are gone, and today's grace is alive. His compassion is stronger than your weakness, and deeper than your regrets. To surrender to him is to step into this mercy without fear. Beloved, walk boldly in his forgiveness. Beloved, obedience is trust in action. It is choosing his way above your own, his plan above your desire, his wisdom above your understanding. Obedience may not always feel easy, but it always bears fruit. Every step of obedience plants seeds of blessing. Beloved, let obedience mark your morning. The presence of God transforms everything it touches. What seems ordinary becomes sacred when his spirit fills it. Your conversations, your work, your quiet moments, all become holy ground. With him in control, your life radiates his glory. Beloved, carry his presence into every moment today. Beloved, courage rises when fear is surrendered to him. Courage does not mean the absence of fear, but the choice to trust despite it. God goes before you, his angels guard you, and his promises surround you. With him first, nothing can move you from his plan. Beloved, walk with courage into this day. As this part closes, remember that surrender is not loss, but gain. When you put God in control, you are not giving up, but rising higher in his strength. Peace, joy, and victory flow from this one decision. Your life is safest when it rests in his hands. Beloved, begin and end today with God in control. Beloved child of God, as you rise today, let your soul find strength in the simple act of surrender. Control was never meant to rest on your shoulders, and peace was never meant to be earned through striving. When you say God in control, you are choosing to live in freedom rather than in fear. This release opens the door for his spirit to move with power. Beloved, today is safest in his hands. To place God first is to lift your heart above the noise of the world and anchor yourself in his word. His promises remain steady even when everything else shifts. The news may bring uncertainty, people may disappoint, and plans may fall apart, but his truth endures forever. When you surrender, you step into stability that cannot be shaken. Beloved, hold tightly to his word. Peace flows like a river when you trust him completely. It is not fragile but strong, not shallow but deep, not fleeting but eternal. This peace surrounds your heart when fear presses in, and guards your mind when doubt whispers lies. With God in control, your soul is anchored in calm waters. Beloved, let peace carry you today. Beloved, gratitude is more than a feeling. It is a weapon that drives back discouragement. When you thank God for what he has done, you declare that he is still able to do even more. Gratitude transforms burdens into blessings and setbacks into stepping stones. Thanksgiving unlocks joy that cannot be silenced. Beloved, let gratitude be your song this morning. Joy rises when your spirit surrenders to his presence. It is joy that strengthens you when your body feels weak and fills you with courage when your heart feels heavy. Joy is not found in possessions but in the presence of the Lord. With him in control, joy is your inheritance. Beloved, let your life shine with joy today. Faith is the foundation of surrender, and surrender is the soil of miracles. To trust God with your day is to believe that he is weaving purpose into every detail. Faith does not demand to know the plan, but rests in the one who holds it. Every step taken in faith is a step into blessing. Beloved, let faith carry you forward. Beloved, prayer is your greatest strength this morning. It is the place where heaven meets earth, where your voice is heard by the Creator of all things. Prayer is not weakness but power, not empty words but divine exchange. Each prayer surrendered in faith is answered in perfect love. Beloved, begin with prayer and walk in power. When you release control, you are no longer bound by the weight of worry. Fear loses its grip when faith takes its place. What once felt heavy becomes light because his Spirit lifts you. Burdens are exchanged for blessings when placed in his hands. Beloved, surrender everything and breathe in his freedom. Beloved, victory is not won by holding tightly, but by letting go. When you allow God to fight your battles, you are guaranteed triumph. Every obstacle surrendered becomes an opportunity for him to reveal his glory. The outcome is no longer dependent on your strength, but on his. Beloved, victory is yours when you place it all in his hands. The Spirit of God is eager to guide you into paths of peace and righteousness. His counsel is steady, his comfort unending, and his wisdom perfect. When you let him lead, confusion loses power and clarity becomes your portion. He directs your steps into places prepared long before you arrived. Beloved, follow his leading with trust. Beloved, your declarations matter. To speak God in control is to shift the atmosphere around you. Words of faith are not empty, but filled with power to shape reality. Heaven responds when you declare trust over fear and hope over despair. Speak boldly and watch the fruit of your faith grow. Freedom comes when you stop grasping and start trusting. Yesterday's chains no longer bind you because his mercy has written a new story for today. Every regret is covered, every failure redeemed, every mistake forgiven. Freedom is your inheritance as his child. Beloved, walk in that liberty today. Beloved, rest is not the absence of work, but the presence of God's peace. To rest in him is to trust that he has gone before you and prepared the way. Rest allows your soul to be refreshed and your heart to be renewed. It is a gift for those who choose surrender. Beloved, let his rest be your portion today. Mercy greets you each morning like sunlight breaking through the night. It covers your mistakes, erases your regrets, and gives you the strength to begin again. His compassion is endless, and his love without condition. You are not defined by failure but by his forgiveness. Beloved, let mercy write your story today. Beloved, obedience is the visible sign of trust. When you follow his leading, even in small things, you position yourself for blessing. Obedience may not always make sense, but it always leads to life. Every yes you give to God opens a door of favor. Beloved, choose obedience and walk in blessing. The presence of God transforms every detail of your life. What others see as routine becomes holy when his Spirit fills it. With him in control, your work becomes worship and your steps become sacred. His nearness sanctifies even the simplest tasks. Beloved, carry his presence wherever you go. Beloved, courage rises when you know God is with you. Fear may whisper, but faith shouts louder when your heart is surrendered. You do not walk into today alone, but surrounded by his promises. With him first, you are unshakable and unstoppable. Beloved, walk boldly in the strength of his Spirit. As this part closes, let your heart rest in the truth that surrender is not weakness but wisdom. Control belongs to God, and peace belongs to you when you yield to him. Every step you take today is covered in his grace and guided by his Spirit. You are safe in his love and strong in his presence. Beloved, your day is already blessed because God is in control. Beloved child of God, as you breathe in the morning air, remember that your first decision sets the tone for the day. When you choose to put God in control, you step into his covering and his peace. The world may pull you in many directions, but his Spirit calls you to rest in him first. This rest is not laziness but trust, a holy pause that anchors your soul. Beloved, your day begins best when it begins with him. To surrender control is to exchange fear for faith and confusion for clarity. You are no longer weighed down by what you cannot fix, for you trust the one who holds all things together. His wisdom is greater than your understanding, and his timing is always perfect. This trust allows you to walk freely, knowing you are never alone. Beloved, surrender is your pathway to strength. Peace, beloved, flows like a river into the surrendered heart. It is not shaken by storms or stolen by fear, for its source is eternal. This peace fills your mind with calm and steadies your steps with courage. It covers you like a shield, guarding you from doubt and despair. Beloved, let peace rule in your heart as you trust Him. Beloved, gratitude is the key to unlocking joy. When you thank Him for what you see, you invite Him to move in what you cannot yet see. Gratitude turns ordinary moments into sacred encounters and shifts your perspective from lack to abundance. It is the language of faith and the seed of blessing. Beloved, begin your morning with thanksgiving on your lips. Joy rises when you surrender your heart fully to His presence. This joy is not temporary, but everlasting, not shallow, but deep, not fragile, but strong. It lifts you when burdens press in and strengthens you when your spirit feels weak. Joy is proof that God's Spirit is alive in you. Beloved, let joy flow as your anthem today. Faith is the anchor that steadies you when life feels uncertain. By declaring God in control, you are choosing to rest in promises you may not yet see. Faith is not blind, but confident in the one who is faithful. Every act of trust becomes a seed of miracles waiting to bloom. Beloved, let faith rise with the morning light. Beloved, prayer is your sacred connection to heaven. Each word is a seed planted in eternity, each sigh a fragrance before His throne. Prayer is not wasted, but powerful, shaping outcomes you cannot imagine. It draws heaven closer and fills your heart with strength. Beloved, let prayer guide your morning. Releasing control frees you from the prison of worry. Fear no longer grips you when you place your concerns in His hands. What you cannot carry, He carries with strength and tenderness. His love ensures that no burden is too heavy for Him. Beloved, breathe out your worries and breathe in His peace. Beloved, victory begins in surrender, not in striving. When you release control, you allow God to fight battles you cannot see. He goes before you as your defender, covering you with His strength and His promises. What once felt impossible becomes possible in His hands. Beloved, victory is secured when you yield to Him. The Spirit of God longs to guide you into wisdom and truth. His voice whispers in the stillness, leading you to paths of righteousness and peace. When you invite Him first, you will not stumble, but walk with clarity and direction. His counsel never fails, for He sees the end from the beginning. Beloved, listen and follow His leading. Beloved, your words hold the power to shape your day. Declare boldly God in control and watch your spirit rise with hope. Words of faith silence lies of fear and release. Blessings over your life. What you proclaim in the morning becomes the song of your day. Beloved, let your declarations honor Him. Freedom flows from surrender like a rushing river. Chains of fear break, weights of worry lift, and regret loses its grip. You are no longer bound by yesterday's failures, but renewed by today's mercy. Freedom is your inheritance when you place Him first. Beloved, walk boldly in this liberty. Beloved, rest is a holy act of trust in God's timing. To rest in Him is to believe that He is working even when you cannot see. It is a pause that restores strength and refreshes the soul. Rest allows His Spirit to do what your striving cannot. Beloved, let your heart find rest in Him today. Mercy is new every morning, rising with the dawn to cover your life. Yesterday's mistakes do not define you, for His compassion has written a new beginning. His mercy erases guilt and replaces shame with peace. This mercy is the foundation of your hope. Beloved, receive His mercy with gratitude. Beloved, obedience is the visible sign of surrender. Every yes you give to God opens the door to blessing and favor. His way may not always align with your own, but it always leads to life. Obedience plants seeds of abundance that will bloom in their season. Beloved, walk today in obedience and trust. The presence of God transforms ordinary routines into holy moments. With Him in control, your day becomes a testimony of His goodness. Every conversation, every step, every breath becomes sacred. His Spirit fills your life with light and meaning. Beloved, carry His presence with you today. Beloved, courage rises when you know that the Almighty walks with you. Fear may knock, but faith answers with strength and confidence. You are surrounded by His promises and held by His hand. With Him in control, you are unshakable and unstoppable. Beloved, face this day with courage in your soul. As this part closes, let your heart rest in the assurance that God is in control. His plans are greater than your fears, His love stronger than your doubts, and His peace deeper than your worries. Every step you take is covered by grace and guided by His Spirit. Surrender is your strength and trust your victory. Beloved, your day is already blessed in Him. Beloved child of God, as the new morning greets your life, remember that surrender is not loss, but the greatest gain. To place everything in God's hands is to step into a day covered in His favor. He knows the path before you, the burdens you carry, and the strength you will need. When you whisper God in control, you are clothing yourself in divine protection. Beloved, your day begins secure in His love. To put Him first is to rise with peace that the world cannot explain. Fear may try to steal your joy, but His promises surround you like a shield. Every anxious thought is silenced when you remember who holds tomorrow. He is Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, and your life is safe in His plan. Beloved, rest in that assurance. Peace, beloved, is the fruit of surrender. It does not depend on perfect circumstances, but on the perfect presence of God. This peace steadies you when storms rise and fills your mind when worries press in. It surrounds you like a fortress, unbreakable and sure. Beloved, let peace rule your heart this day. Beloved, gratitude is the fragrance that fills your soul with joy. Each word of thanks is a reminder that you are already blessed, already loved, already provided for. Gratitude shifts your eyes from what is missing to the abundance that is present. It awakens hope and strengthens faith. Beloved, begin this day with thanksgiving overflowing from your lips. Joy flows when you place God at the center. This joy is not shallow but deep, not temporary but eternal, not fragile but unshakable. It becomes your strength when life feels heavy and your song when your spirit feels weary. Joy is your inheritance as His child. Beloved, let joy rise like the morning sun. Faith is built when you declare trust before you see results. To say God in control is to say, I trust you even here, even now, even when I cannot see. Faith looks beyond the visible into the eternal, believing that His promises are already unfolding. This is the strength that moves mountains and opens doors. Beloved, let your faith be alive today. Beloved, prayer is the power that anchors your spirit. Each moment spent in His presence prepares you for the hours ahead. Prayer is where your weakness meets His strength, and your doubt is replaced with His truth. It is not routine but renewal, not duty but delight. Beloved, fill your morning with prayer and walk in power. Surrender lifts the weight of worry from your soul. The burdens you try to carry alone drain you, but the moment you release them, peace floods in. His shoulders are strong enough for your greatest fears and His heart tender enough for your smallest concerns. Nothing is too big or too small for Him. Beloved, give Him everything today. Beloved, victory begins before the battle when you let God fight for you. What once seemed impossible becomes certain when placed in his hands. Every enemy falls, every fear flees, and every obstacle becomes an opportunity for testimony. The battle is not yours, but the Lord's. Beloved, victory is already secured through surrender. The Spirit of God longs to lead you into paths of peace and blessing. His wisdom is higher than your understanding and his timing more perfect than your plans. When you let him guide you, confusion turns to clarity and hesitation to courage. He sees the end from the beginning and knows the way you should go. Beloved, follow his whisper today. Beloved, your words hold power to shape your day. Speak boldly, God in control, and align your heart with heaven. Words of faith silence the lies of fear and strengthen your spirit. What you declare with your mouth becomes the reality you live with your heart. Beloved, let your tongue proclaim his truth. Freedom flows when you surrender fully to him. The chains of fear, guilt, and regret no longer bind you. His love covers you, his grace renews you, and his mercy writes a new story for your life. Freedom is not earned, but received through surrender. Beloved, walk boldly in liberty today. Beloved, rest is the promise of those who trust in God. Rest is not an absence of activity, but a presence of peace. When you trust his plan, you no longer strive to control outcomes, but rest in his timing. Rest refreshes your spirit and strengthens your body. Beloved, let rest in him be your portion this morning. Mercy rises with the dawn, covering yesterday's failures and offering today's hope. His compassion does not fail, his love does not end, and his forgiveness does not run dry. Mercy is the gift that renews you daily and prepares you for what lies ahead. It is your constant companion when you surrender control. Beloved, receive his mercy with gladness. Beloved, obedience is trust put into action. Each step of surrender is a step into blessing. When you say yes, his will, you are aligning yourself with the flow of his favor. Obedience may not always feel easy, but it always brings life. Beloved, walk in obedience and see his goodness unfold. The presence of God transforms every moment of your day. What feels ordinary becomes holy when his Spirit fills it. Work becomes worship, conversations become ministry, and life becomes a testimony. With him in control, every second shines with eternal weight. Beloved, carry his presence with you everywhere. Beloved, courage rises when you know God is with you. Fear has no authority when his promises are your foundation. The unknown no longer intimidates you, because you walk with the one who knows all. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the presence of faith. Beloved, step boldly into this day with courage. As this part closes, remember that your greatest strength comes from surrender. To put God in control is to choose peace, joy, faith, and freedom over fear and worry. Every step you take is already covered by his mercy and guided by his Spirit. You are never alone, never forgotten, never without help. Beloved, your day is already blessed because God is in control. Beloved child of God, as the morning light fills the sky, let your soul also be filled with the certainty of his presence. You are not stepping into this day by chance, but by divine appointment. Every detail has been seen, every step prepared, and every need provided for. When you declare God in control, you align yourself with heaven's plan. Beloved, you are safe in his hands today. To put him first is to invite order into the chaos and calm into the noise. The world will always demand more, but his Spirit reminds you to pause and rest in him. This holy pause strengthens you more than striving ever could. It recenters your mind, revives your heart, and refreshes your soul. Beloved, let his stillness guide your beginning. Peace flows when your heart is surrendered to his care. It is not a fragile peace that breaks under pressure, but a fortress that shields you from fear. This peace is deeper than worry, stronger than despair, and more powerful than anxiety. It steadies you when everything else shakes. Beloved, let his peace guard you today. Beloved, gratitude is the soil where joy grows. Every word of thanks waters seeds of blessing and invites God to pour out more. Gratitude opens your eyes to abundance already surrounding you. It transforms your focus from what you lack to the richness of what you have. Beloved, let gratitude overflow from your lips this morning. Joy, beloved, is your inheritance when you put God first. This joy is not shallow but enduring, not dependent on circumstances but rooted in His Spirit. It carries you through valleys, strengthens you in battles, and lifts you in weariness. Joy is a reminder that God is near and His promises are true. Beloved, let joy be your strength today. Faith is the bridge between surrender and blessing. To say God in control is to step onto that bridge with confidence. Faith does not demand details, but rests in the one who has already written the story. It allows you to walk into the unknown with peace. Beloved, let faith carry you into this day. Beloved, prayer is the sacred breath of the soul. It is not a ritual, but a relationship, not a routine, but a refuge. Prayer brings heaven closer and reminds you that you are never alone. Each word spoken in faith shapes your day and aligns it with His will. Beloved, begin with prayer and walk in power. Release the burdens that weigh you down, for they were never yours to carry. Worry is too heavy for your heart, but light in the hands of God. When you place every concern before Him, peace flows freely into your spirit. This surrender does not weaken you but strengthens you. Beloved, let go and let Him carry you. Beloved, victory belongs to those who yield. The battle is never yours alone, but always the Lord's. When you step back in trust, He steps forward in power. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity, every trial a testimony. Beloved, declare victory through surrender. The Spirit of God longs to walk with you into this day. His voice is gentle yet powerful, guiding you with wisdom beyond your own. When you invite Him first, confusion loses power and direction becomes clear. He will lead you beside still waters and into green pastures. Beloved, follow His whisper closely. Beloved, your words shape the path before you. Speak boldly, God in control, and let faith rise in your heart. Words of surrender silence lies of fear and open doors of blessing. What you declare in the morning becomes the atmosphere of your day. Beloved, let your declarations honor Him. Freedom flows when control is surrendered. Fear no longer binds, regret no longer cripples, and shame no longer defines you. His love covers every wound, His grace heals every scar, and His mercy renews every moment. Freedom is the fruit of surrender. Beloved, walk in liberty today. Beloved, rest is your gift when you trust His hand. Rest is not the absence of activity but the presence of peace. It is the calm assurance that God is working even when you cannot see. Rest refreshes your soul and strengthens your spirit. Beloved, let your heart rest in Him this morning. Mercy rises with the sun, new and unending. Yesterday's failures are erased, today's blessings prepared, and tomorrow's hope secured. His compassion does not fail, and His forgiveness does not end. Mercy covers your life when you put Him in control. Beloved, receive this gift with gratitude. Beloved, obedience is the proof of trust. Each yes to God opens doors no human effort could. His ways may not always be easy, but they always lead to life. Every step of obedience is a seed of blessing for today and tomorrow. Beloved, choose obedience and see His favor. The presence of God transforms every detail of your day. What others call ordinary becomes holy when His Spirit fills it. Every word becomes a prayer, every task an offering, every moment a testimony. His nearness sanctifies your journey. Beloved, carry his presence everywhere you go. Beloved, courage rises when you know God goes before you. Fear loses its voice when his promises are louder. You are never alone, never forgotten, never unprotected. With him in control, you are unshakable and unstoppable. Beloved, walk boldly into this day with courage in your heart. As this part closes, let your soul rest in the truth that surrender is strength. To put God in control is to choose peace, joy, and freedom over fear and striving. His love surrounds you, his spirit guides you, and his grace carries you. Nothing can separate you from his care. Beloved, your day is already blessed because God is in control. Beloved child of God, this morning greets you not with chance but with divine purpose. Every sunrise is proof that his mercy has renewed and his plan continues. You are not left to wander aimlessly, for his hand has already drawn the path ahead. To declare God in control is to accept that you are never walking alone. Beloved, your life is safe in his promises. To put him first is to rest in the assurance that he knows what you cannot see. His vision is higher, his wisdom deeper, and his timing more perfect than your understanding. Surrendering to him means exchanging worry for trust and fear for hope. What weighs you down is lifted when he carries it. Beloved, let your heart be light in his care. Peace surrounds you when God is in control. It is not fragile or fleeting but strong and steady, guarding your heart against fear. This peace cannot be broken by trials or shaken by storms. It is anchored in the presence of the Almighty. Beloved, walk in that peace as your inheritance today. Beloved, gratitude lifts your soul into joy. Each word of thanks opens the door to blessing and shifts your eyes to abundance. Gratitude sees miracles in ordinary moments and favor in unexpected places. It teaches your heart to sing, even in waiting. Beloved, let thanksgiving rise from your lips this morning. Joy flows when your life is surrendered to him. It is not built on what happens, but on who is with you. Joy steadies you in sorrow, strengthens you in trials, and lifts you in weakness. This joy cannot be stolen by the enemy or diminished by circumstances. Beloved, let joy be your strength today. Faith is the bold declaration that God has already made a way. To say, God in control, is to declare trust, even before the answers appear. Faith does not demand proof, but rests in his character. It sees beyond the visible into eternal promises. Beloved, let faith carry you through this day. Beloved, prayer is your sacred dialogue with heaven. Each whisper is treasured, each sigh recorded, each word answered in his perfect way. Prayer invites God into your every detail and shapes outcomes unseen. It is not wasted breath, but the power that transforms. Beloved, begin with prayer and carry it into every moment. Releasing control frees your spirit from the weight of worry. Fear thrives on holding tightly, but surrender starves it. The more you let go, the more peace flows in. His shoulders are strong enough to carry what you cannot. Beloved, release it all and rest in him. Beloved, victory belongs to those who yield to the Lord. Your battles are not yours to fight alone, but his to overcome. Every obstacle surrendered becomes an opportunity for his glory. What felt impossible becomes possible in his hands. Beloved, declare victory by letting him lead. The Spirit of God longs to fill your morning with wisdom and strength. His voice speaks clarity into confusion and peace into chaos. When you invite him first, you walk in alignment with his will. His counsel never fails, for he knows all things. Beloved, follow his gentle whisper today. Beloved, your words shape your reality. Speak boldly, God in control, and release faith into the atmosphere. Words of trust. Silence lies of fear and open the door to blessing. What you proclaim in faith becomes the foundation of your day. Beloved, let your tongue align with his promises. Freedom flows when control is surrendered to him. Chains of guilt, fear, and regret fall away in his presence. Freedom is not earned but received, not temporary but eternal. With him in control, you are no longer bound, but renewed. Beloved, walk in liberty and rejoice in his grace. Beloved, rest is a holy act of trust in God's care. To rest in him is to believe he is working even when you cannot see. Rest refreshes your soul, strengthens your body, and renews your mind. It reminds you that outcomes are not your responsibility but his. Beloved, let rest be your gift today. Mercy greets you with every sunrise, unending and unearned. Yesterday's mistakes are erased, today's hope is renewed, and tomorrow's future is secured. His mercy is greater than failure and stronger than shame. It covers you fully when you put him first. Beloved, walk boldly in that mercy. Beloved, obedience is trust turned into action. Each yes to God opens doors of favor and blessing. His plans may stretch you, but they always bring life. Obedience plants seeds that bloom in their season. Beloved, choose obedience and step into abundance. The presence of God sanctifies every detail of your life. With him in control, your words carry grace, your actions reflect love, and your steps radiate light. Ordinary tasks become extraordinary when surrendered to him. His nearness transforms everything. Beloved, invite his presence into every moment. Beloved, courage rises when you trust that God goes before you. Fear has no power when faith takes its place. The unknown no longer intimidates you because his promises remain your foundation. With him first, you are strong and unshakable. Beloved, step boldly into this day with courage. As this part closes, remember that surrender is not weakness, but wisdom. To put God in control is to choose trust over worry, peace over fear, and joy over despair. His Spirit leads you, his love surrounds you, and his grace sustains you. You are never forsaken and never forgotten. Beloved, your day is already blessed in him. Beloved child of God, this new morning is another chance to anchor your heart in his promises. The world may pull you into fear and distraction, but your spirit is steadied by surrender. When you rise with the words God in control, you cover your life with faith. His presence goes before you and his hand holds you close. Beloved, your day begins in victory. To put him first is to acknowledge that your strength is limited, but his is endless. Human effort alone cannot guarantee peace or joy, but his Spirit provides both freely. Each moment surrendered becomes a doorway for blessing. He is faithful to complete the good work he has begun in you. Beloved, rest in his sufficiency. Peace surrounds you like a river when you yield to him. It is not shaken by trials or stolen by fear, for its source is eternal. This peace becomes your anchor when storms rise, and your shield when lies whisper. It keeps your heart steady in the presence of uncertainty. Beloved, let peace be your companion today. Beloved, gratitude transforms how you see the world. Every breath is a gift, every sunrise a reminder of his mercy, every moment evidence of his love. Gratitude lifts you above the noise of complaint and tunes your heart to heaven's melody. It invites joy into every circumstance. Beloved, let thanksgiving be the song of your soul. Joy flows when you surrender control to God's perfect plan. It does not rely on possessions, achievements, or approval, but on his Spirit dwelling in you. Joy rises when tears fall, strengthens when weakness lingers, and shines when darkness threatens. It cannot be taken from those who rest in him. Beloved, let joy be your portion today. Faith is the foundation of surrender. and surrender the doorway to miracles. To declare God in control is to plant seeds of trust in fertile soil. Faith does not need all the answers, it only needs the assurance of who holds the answers. This assurance gives you courage to face what is ahead. Beloved, let faith be your anchor. Beloved, prayer is your holy refuge. It is not bound by time or space, but lifts your heart directly to the throne of grace. Prayer calms your spirit, strengthens your resolve, and invites heaven's presence into your day. Every word is heard, every sigh treasured, every cry answered. Beloved, let prayer shape your morning. When you release control, worry loses its grip. Fear cannot survive in a heart that trusts the Almighty. What once felt heavy becomes light when placed in His hands. His love carries what you cannot, and His strength upholds what you release. Beloved, let go and live free in His care. Beloved, victory is secured when you trust Him with the battle. The fight may seem overwhelming, but the Lord has already declared the outcome. Every weapon formed against you will fail, and every challenge will bow to His power. Your role is to trust, not to strive. Beloved, declare victory through surrender. The Spirit of God longs to guide you into wisdom and clarity. His voice calms the noise and His direction lights the path. When you invite Him first, you will not stumble, but walk in alignment with His will. He sees what you cannot and leads where you could not go alone. Beloved, follow His leading closely. Beloved, your words are seeds planted into the soil of your life. Speak with boldness, God in control, and watch faith grow strong. Words of surrender invite heaven's favor, while words of fear open doors to despair. Choose today to align your tongue with truth. Beloved, declare what God has spoken. Freedom is found not in holding tightly, but in letting go. Yesterday's burdens no longer chain you, for His grace has set you free. Fear no longer imprisons, regret no longer defines, shame no longer controls. Freedom is your inheritance as His child. Beloved, live in liberty today. Beloved, rest is a gift of trust. It says God is working even when I cannot see, and it releases your soul from striving. Rest renews strength, refreshes hope, and restores clarity. It is the posture of faith and the fruit of surrender. Beloved, let rest be your portion. Mercy rises fresh with every sunrise. His compassion covers your failures, and His grace gives you strength to begin again. Mercy does not run out, but renews endlessly, flowing from His love. It lifts you from shame into hope, and from weakness into strength. Beloved, walk in mercy's embrace. Beloved, obedience is the visible sign of trust. Each step of surrender opens a new door to blessing. Obedience may stretch your faith, but it always leads to life. Every yes plants a seed for tomorrow's favor. Beloved, walk in obedience today. The presence of God sanctifies every detail of your life. With Him in control, even the smallest tasks become holy. His Spirit turns ordinary routines into opportunities for worship. His nearness is your strength, your comfort, and your guide. Beloved, carry His presence in every step. Beloved, courage rises when you know the Lord is near. Fear may shout, but faith whispers louder in your soul. You do not face this day alone, but with the Almighty walking beside you. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the confidence of His presence. Beloved, rise boldly into today. As this part closes, remember that surrender is not weakness, but wisdom. To put God in control is to walk in strength, peace, and joy beyond measure. His Spirit empowers you, His love secures you, and His grace sustains you. Every step you take is already blessed by His hand. Beloved, your day belongs to Him. Beloved child of God, as the dawn unfolds before your eyes, Know that you are already wrapped in his unfailing love. This new morning is not random, but filled with divine purpose tailored for you. Every detail of your journey is seen, guided and strengthened by his hand. To whisper God in control is to choose peace over panic and rest over worry. Beloved, you are safe in his embrace. To put him first is to align your life with heaven's rhythm. The world will always demand more of you, yet his spirit calls you into stillness. This stillness is not weakness, but the foundation of your strength. By choosing him first, you declare that his ways are higher and his plan is perfect. Beloved, let him be your beginning. Peace flows like a river into hearts that surrender. It is not fragile or temporary, but steady and strong. This peace shields your mind from fear and protects your heart from despair. When God is in control, peace is your portion, no matter what unfolds. Beloved, walk in that peace today. Beloved, gratitude is the doorway to blessing. A thankful heart cannot be overcome by bitterness or fear. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to the abundance you already have. It is the song that invites God's presence to dwell within you. Beloved, let thanksgiving rise from your lips. Joy becomes your strength when God is your focus. This joy is not shallow, but rooted in his spirit. It remains when tears fall, grows when burdens weigh heavy, and shines when the world feels dark. Joy testifies that God is present in every season. Beloved, let joy carry you forward today. Faith is the language of surrender. To declare God in control is to proclaim trust, even in the unseen. Faith holds to promises not yet fulfilled and walks boldly into tomorrow. It gives you courage when fear speaks loudly. Beloved, let your faith rise with the morning. Beloved, prayer is your holy sanctuary. It is where your weakness is exchanged for his strength and your questions for his wisdom. Prayer is not a duty, but a gift, not routine, but power. Every word carries weight in the kingdom, and every moment in prayer shapes eternity. Beloved, start this day in prayer. Release is the act that frees your spirit from heavy chains. What you cling to in fear becomes light when surrendered to him. His shoulders are strong enough for your greatest burdens. Every weight lifted creates room for peace to flow. Beloved, release control and rest in him. Beloved, victory is already yours when you surrender the battle. The Lord fights for you, defends you, and ensures your triumph. What looks like defeat becomes the stage for his glory. Every weapon formed against you will not prosper. Beloved, declare victory in his name. The Spirit of God longs to guide your every step today. His whispers calm your fears, and his wisdom directs your path. Invite him first, and clarity will replace confusion. His guidance never fails, and his counsel never ends. Beloved, follow his voice. Beloved, your words are seeds that shape your reality. Speak boldly, God in control, and align your heart with his promises. Words of fear create chains, but words of faith open doors. What you declare with your mouth grows in your life. Beloved, choose words of trust and life. Freedom comes through surrender. Fear, regret, and shame lose their power in his presence. Freedom is not temporary, but eternal, not fragile, but secure. When God is in control, nothing can bind you again. Beloved, live in liberty today. Beloved, rest is your sacred portion. Rest says God is working even when I cannot see. It restores your mind, refreshes your spirit, and renews your body. Rest is not weakness, but trust made visible. Beloved, let your heart rest in him. Mercy is the gift that greets you with the sunrise. Yesterday's failures are washed away and today's hope renewed. Mercy does not run dry, but flows endlessly from his heart. It covers your life and gives you strength to begin again. Beloved, walk in his mercy today. Beloved, obedience is the expression of your trust. Every yes you give him opens new doors of blessing. His ways may stretch your faith, but they always lead to life. Obedience plants seeds of favor that will bloom in time. Beloved, walk boldly in obedience. The presence of God transforms your ordinary into extraordinary. What once felt routine becomes holy when his spirit fills it. Every word becomes prayer, every step sacred, every breath worship. With him in control, your whole life reflects his glory. Beloved, invite his presence into everything. Beloved, courage is born when you know he goes before you. Fear may roar, but faith speaks louder. You are not walking alone, but with the Almighty at your side. Courage does not mean absence of fear, but the confidence of his nearness. Beloved, step boldly into today. As this part closes, let your heart rejoice in the wisdom of surrender. To place God in control is to choose strength instead of struggle and peace instead of panic. His love covers you, his spirit leads you, and his grace sustains you. You are safe in his will and secure in his care. Beloved, your day is already blessed because he reigns. Beloved child of God, as this new morning unfolds, breathe deeply and know his spirit surrounds you. The sunrise itself is a reminder that his mercies are new every day, washing over you with grace and favor. You are stepping into a day that God himself has prepared, filled with blessings, opportunities, and peace. To begin by saying God in control is to align your life with heaven's design. Beloved, you are never alone in this journey. To put him first is to establish a foundation stronger than any storm. Human plans may falter, but God's plan is unshakable and everlasting. When you surrender, you choose stability that no trial can move. His promises form the bedrock of your life, unchanging and eternal. Beloved, let your heart lean fully on him. Peace flows when surrender becomes your daily rhythm. It quiets anxious thoughts and silences the voices of fear. This peace is not shallow, but deeply rooted in God's unchanging character. It covers your heart like a blanket and guards your mind like a fortress. Beloved, walk with his peace as your constant companion. Beloved, gratitude transforms every moment into worship. Each word of thanks is like incense rising before his throne. Gratitude shifts your eyes away from what is lacking and opens them to the abundance you already possess. It invites joy and strengthens faith. Beloved, let your day overflow with thanksgiving. Joy rises in those who put God first. It is joy that cannot be stolen, shaken, or silenced. This joy fuels your strength when you are weary and fills you with hope. When trials linger, joy is your testimony that God is present and faithful. Beloved, let joy mark your steps today. Faith is the heartbeat of surrender. It does not demand to know how, but rests in who holds the outcome. Faith moves mountains because it is rooted in God's power, not human effort. Every declaration of God in control strengthens your walk. Beloved, let faith shape your path this morning. Beloved, prayer is your lifeline to the throne of grace. It is the place where fear is exchanged for hope and weakness for strength. Prayer carries your voice into eternity and brings heaven's answers into time. Every prayer is precious to him, every moment heard. Beloved, let prayer shape your day. Release his freedom, for the burdens you cling to are too heavy to bear alone. God never called you to carry what only he can hold. Worry shrinks when placed in his hands, and peace grows when you let go. His love is strong enough for every fear and tender enough for every wound. Beloved, surrender and breathe freely. Beloved, victory is birthed through surrender. The battle is never truly yours, but always the Lord's. Every weapon aimed against you is broken by his power. What seems like defeat becomes a testimony of his glory. Beloved, stand tall in the victory of his name. The Spirit of God is eager to guide you into truth. His whisper calms the storm, and his wisdom lights the path ahead. Invite him first, and you will never walk in darkness. His guidance is steady, reliable, and full of love. Beloved, follow his voice with trust. Beloved, words shape your atmosphere. Speak boldly, God in control, and let faith flow from your lips. Words of trust invite blessing, while words of fear invite despair. Heaven responds to faith-filled declarations. Beloved, speak life and surrender with your tongue. Freedom fills the soul that lets go. Yesterday's chains fall away, and tomorrow's hope rises. Fear, shame, and regret have no authority over a surrendered heart. In God's presence, freedom is eternal and unbreakable. Beloved, live in this liberty today. Beloved, rest is not weakness, but strength clothed in peace. To rest is to declare that God is working even when you are still. Rest refreshes your soul, renews your spirit, and restores your vision. It is a holy act of trust in his perfect plan. Beloved, embrace his rest this day. Mercy rises new with every sunrise, covering you with forgiveness and love. His compassion never fails, and his grace never ends. Yesterday's regrets no longer define you because his mercy rewrites your story. Mercy makes way for hope and strength. Beloved, walk in the covering of his mercy. Beloved, obedience is the fruit of trust. Every act of surrender opens doors of blessing that striving never could. Obedience plants seeds of favor that will bloom in their time. His way may stretch you, but it will always lead you to life. Beloved, let obedience shape your walk today. The presence of God sanctifies even the ordinary moments of life. Work becomes worship, tasks become testimonies, and breath becomes prayer when his Spirit fills you. His nearness transforms what feels common into something holy. With him in control, your life shines with divine light. Beloved, walk with his presence at your side. Beloved, courage is born when you know God goes before you. Fear may roar, but it cannot silence the voice of faith. You walk into today not empty-handed, but armed with his promises. Courage is the evidence of surrender and the fruit of his nearness. Beloved, step boldly with courage in your heart. As this part closes, rejoice in the wisdom of surrender. To put God in control is to embrace peace, joy, freedom, and strength beyond your own. His Spirit guides, his love protects, and his mercy sustains. Nothing can separate you from his care. Beloved, your day is already blessed because he reigns. Beloved child of God, as you welcome this final part of prayer, remember the truth that has carried you through. God is in control. Every detail of your day, every concern of your heart, and every thought of your mind is seen by him. He does not abandon you in weakness, but surrounds you with strength. His love carries you where your own ability cannot. Beloved, your day begins and ends in his care. To put him first is to declare with your life that he is greater than every storm. Human wisdom may falter, but his wisdom never fails. Every choice to trust him releases heaven's blessing into your path. His promises do not waver like shifting shadows, but remain firm like the mountains. Beloved, let him be your beginning and your end. Peace flows when surrender becomes your song. It is not peace from this world, but peace that surpasses all understanding. This peace anchors your soul when fear tries to rise and shields your mind from anxiety's grip. It is steady, strong, and unshakable because it comes from him. Beloved, let his peace reign in your heart. Beloved, gratitude is the fragrance of a surrendered soul. Every word of thanks is a reminder that you are already blessed beyond measure. Gratitude lifts your eyes above worry and places them firmly on God's goodness. It transforms burdens into testimonies and delays into opportunities for faith. Beloved, let gratitude be your anthem today. Joy rises in those who walk with God. It is joy that cannot be silenced, joy that cannot be stolen, joy that cannot be shaken. This joy flows like a river from the throne of grace, filling your life with strength and light. It becomes your strength when your spirit feels weak. Beloved, let joy define your day. Faith is the foundation of trust and the doorway to miracles. To say God in control is to declare that you believe even without seeing. Faith speaks hope into darkness and courage into fear. It carries you forward when you feel uncertain. Beloved, let faith hold you steady in every moment. Beloved, prayer is the gift that connects your heart to His. Each word carries weight, each whisper is heard, each cry treasured. Prayer is not weakness but power, not ritual but relationship. It opens the heavens and fills your heart with strength. Beloved, let prayer be your refuge always. Release is your act of trust, for you were never created to carry it all. The burdens you place in His hands are transformed into blessings. His love lifts what you cannot, and His strength sustains what you release. Letting go does not mean loss, but freedom. Beloved, let release be your strength today. Beloved, victory is already secured through surrender. The battle belongs to the Lord, and He has never known defeat. What the enemy meant for harm, God turns for good. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity to reveal His glory. Beloved, rejoice in His victory. The Spirit of God longs to lead you into abundance and life. His whisper is gentle but powerful, His counsel steady and true. When you invite Him first, you will never walk in confusion. His wisdom lights your path, and His presence fills your day. Beloved, follow His Spirit. Beloved, words are powerful seeds. Speak boldly, God in control, and let faith blossom in your life. Words of trust open heaven's door, while words of fear close it. What you declare today shapes your tomorrow. Beloved, let your words align with His truth. Freedom flows in the surrendered heart. Chains fall, burdens break, and regrets fade in His presence. Freedom is not fragile, but eternal, secured by His love. It is not dependent on your strength, but on His victory. Beloved, walk boldly in freedom today. Beloved, rest is your holy inheritance. Rest says God is working even when I cannot see. It refreshes your soul, renews your spirit, and restores your strength. Rest is faith in motion, trusting Him while waiting patiently. Beloved, let rest be your portion. Mercy is new this morning and will be new again tomorrow. His compassion never ends, and His forgiveness never fails. Mercy washes away the past and gives birth to new hope. It is the gift that sustains your journey. Beloved, live covered in His mercy. Beloved, obedience is love expressed through action. Each step of surrender draws you closer to His will. Obedience may stretch your faith, but it always leads to blessing. Every yes you give Him plants seeds for tomorrow's favor. Beloved, choose obedience today. The presence of God sanctifies your entire journey. Ordinary tasks are transformed into holy moments when His Spirit fills them. His nearness is your constant companion and your unshakable strength. With Him in control, your life shines as a testimony of grace. Beloved, carry His presence into every moment. Beloved, courage rises when you remember that the Almighty walks with you. Fear cannot bind you when faith declares victory. You are not alone, for His promises surround you like a shield. Courage is the evidence of trust in His presence. Beloved, Walk into today boldly with Him. As this final part closes, lift your heart in worship and surrender. God is in control of your morning, your day, and your future. His love secures you, His Spirit strengthens you, and His grace carries you. Nothing can separate you from His care, and nothing can undo His promises. Beloved, your life is safe in His hands, now and forever.